Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Lauren, and I am going to guide you through a gentle yoga practice. And when coming up with this sequence, I really just thought about what are the most common requests people have. Class sizes are pretty small these days, and have been. Live in-person classes have been pretty small for a while now. And so I often ask, what do you guys want to do today? And so it's like the same things over and over and over and over and over again that most people say. Neck and shoulders, lower back, core strengtheners, hip openers, and then those are the things people request. One thing that people often comment on is balance. And so we're going to do some balance poses, which is what we always do. So kind of a little bit of everything is what this is. This is a really good, well-rounded practice. And for it, all you'll need are, actually what you'll need is a strap. I always have 2 blocks and a blanket as well, but you will need a strap. So have that handy. And we're going to start on our backs. So have the strap close by while you're laying on your back, because we're going to use it when we're on our back. And maybe you support your head. Make your way down onto your back. Settle into a comfortable position. Allow yourself to relax. Allow your body to settle, to sink into your mat. And allow your attention to very softly draw towards your breath. And just notice your breath. Notice any habit, any pattern. And do so. Make any observation without judgment. Know that there are no rights, no wrongs. It is what it is. And you can always continue observing your natural breath. Or maybe join me with a Viloma 2, where we will exhale and pause and divide that breath into 3 equal parts, dividing the exhale, the out breath. The inhalation is a smooth, even breath. The exhalation will be divided. And again, you can always stay with your natural breath. And Viloma 2 is perfectly safe unless you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant. So if you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant, skip any breath work where you're ever holding your breath, including this one. Okay, but otherwise, join me in Viloma 2. So inhale a long, smooth breath in. Hold it at the top for a moment with your lungs full of breath. And then exhale 1/3 of the breath. Pause here, holding the breath for just a moment. And then exhale, release another 1/3 of the breath. Pausing here, hold the breath for just a moment. And then exhale, release that last third of breath. Exhale completely, push all the breath out, hold the breath at the bottom. And then inhale. Inhale naturally, exhale naturally. And then return to Paloma 2. So inhale a long, smooth, seamless breath in. When you get to the top, hold the breath for just a moment. And then exhale 1/3 of the breath, slow and controlled. And then pause, hold the breath. And then exhale slowly, another 1/3. And then pause, hold the breath here. And then exhale, release all the breath out. Keep breathing out, and then hold the breath at the bottom. Inhale, inhale naturally, exhale naturally. Again, inhale all the way, inhaling all the way. Fill the lungs, hold the breath at the top. And then exhale 1/3. Pause, hold your breath. Relax your shoulders. Now exhale another 1/3. Pause, hold the breath. Relax your throat. And then exhale that final third, releasing all of the breath. At the bottom of the breath, hold the breath. Hold the breath, relax the muscles of your face. And then inhale. Breathe naturally, inhale naturally, exhale naturally. We're going to do 2 more rounds. Inhale all the way, a long, smooth breath in. Hold the breath at the top for just a moment. Exhale 1/3 of the breath. Pause, hold the breath. Relax your shoulders, relax your arms. Exhale 2/3 of the breath. Pause, hold the breath. Relax your throat and neck. Exhale 3/3. Push all of the breath out. Push all the breath out. Hold the breath. Relax the muscles of your face. And inhale. Exhale. Last round, Paloma 2. Inhale a long, smooth breath in. Inhale, fill your lungs all the way. Hold the breath at the top. Exhale 1/3 of the breath. Pause. Relax your shoulders. Exhale 2/3 of the breath. Pause. Relax your throat. Exhale 3/3. Push every last drop of breath out, but relax the muscles of your face. Hold the breath. Pause it here. And then inhale. Return completely back to your natural breath. Inhale and exhale naturally. Notice how you feel. Breath work can be challenging physically and mentally. So just notice. Again, no right or wrong answers. Okay, continuing to keep your intent or your attention inward, you might want to set an intention. Take a few moments here to think about a positive word or phrase, something that you know you can come back to throughout your mat, on and off your mat. Give yourself some time to silently and slowly repeat that word or phrase to allow it to settle in your heart. All right, start to deepen your breath. Really allow that intention to fill your lungs. Let it permeate your being. Let it be absorbed into your tissues. And add a little bit of movement. Maybe rock the head, wiggle fingers and toes. Move arms and legs and take any movement here that feels good. Maybe take a full body stretch. Maybe hug the knees in. We're going to stay on our backs. So take about 2 or 3 more breaths, just doing what feels good. Okay. All right, so again, we're going to stay on our back. So make yourself comfortable. I would start with your knees bent and your feet flat and grab onto your strap. All right, we're going to start with the right leg. So draw the right knee in towards your chest and hook the strap onto the ball mount of your foot. The ball mount of your foot is not your arch, not the toes, but the space between. And you're going to allow your right leg to reach up towards the sky. So you've got a few options of what you do with your arms. You can keep your arms extended, but make sure that you're drawing your shoulders back down into the mat if you do that. Or maybe you slide your arms down, let your elbows rest. Do whatever your shoulders and your arms feel most comfortable with. All right, now really reach the right heel up towards the sky. Draw your right toes back towards the wall behind you. Lengthen through the back of the right leg. We're going to move with the breath here, bending at the right knee. Inhale, exhale, bend the right knee, let the heel come down. Move with the breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. We're going to do a couple more just like this. Move with your breath. Now again, relax your shoulders. Check in with the shoulders and arms. Let the backs of the shoulders draw down into the mat. And let's do two more just like this. Opening through the back of the leg. All right, now the next time you lengthen your leg, let's pause there. So we're going to keep the leg long, keep reaching the right heel to the ceiling. Feel a stretch in the back of the leg, anywhere in the back of the leg, by the Achilles, maybe the calf, back of the knee, maybe back of the thigh, down by the seat. All right. Now you could stay here, listen to your lower back, but maybe you lengthen your left leg, lengthening it along the mat. If you do that, I would prefer, and I would suggest, I should say, that you push through the left heel so the left toes are reaching up towards the sky. So make the left leg active, almost as if you're standing on it instead of resting in it like you would in Shavasana. Okay, because what tends to happen here is that because hip flexors are tight, when we start to lengthen the front of the leg, if your hip flexors are tight, it's going to start to pull on the lower back. Okay, but we want the focus to be the back of the right leg. Take one more breath here. This is called Supta Padangusthasana 1, hand to big toe pose. All right, and then bring both ends of the strap into the right hand. So again, it can be down low or it can be extended up. But bring your left hand to your left ASIS bone. It's the bony part of your hip that's currently facing the ceiling. It's sort of just above your hip flexor, or if this is another helpful analogy or analogy. I don't know what the word is. As if you had pockets and you were going to put your hand in your front pocket, like that sort of part here in the front part of your hip. Okay, we're going to plug the left hand down into the left hip down into the mat. We're going to move the right leg with the breath. Inhale as you let the right leg drop over just a little bit over to the right, opening through the hip. Exhale as you return it back to the center. Inhale, let the right leg go over to the right. Exhale, return it back. We're going to just keep moving with the breath, just a small, soft movement. Inhale as you let it go to the right. Exhale, return it. Now, the whole time, you've got your left hand on your left hip, and that's helping you keep your hips level. Notice that your left hip wants to hike up as the right leg goes over to the right. We want to keep the left hip down, keep the hips level this whole time. Okay. Now, the next time you bring that leg back to the center, really reset, push through the left heel, push through the right heel, relax the shoulders, but firm up the left hand on the left ASIS bone. Inhale as you reach the right heel up towards the ceiling. Exhale, let the right leg drop over to the right, pushing through that right heel, but keeping the left hip down towards the ground. Now think about your belly button as if it was a laser pointer. It would be pointing at the same spot in the ceiling this entire time. It would be tempted to dip over to the right, but can you draw the left hip down and towards the mat, the left side of your seat, the left sit bone, the left side of your sacrum, back of the left hip, draw it down as the right leg drops down and over to the right. Feel it through the inner thigh, inner part of the hip. Take a deep breath here. Inhale, slowly return that right leg back to the center, all the way back up. So it's a straight vertical line. Okay. Now we're going to use the left hand to grab onto both ends of the strap. Right arm will reach over to the right with the palm facing up. Like we used our left hand to plug the left hip down, I want you to think about dropping and plugging the right shoulder down now. So lengthening the right arm to really ground the right arm and right shoulder into the mat. Now, this next movement is small. Your right leg, imagine as if in this vertical line, it's at 12 o'clock. It's a straight line. We're only going to let it go over to about 11 o'clock. It's not going to go very much. So inhale, exhale, let it go to 11 o'clock, just a little bit over to the left. We're going to move with the breath. Inhale, let it go to 12 o'clock. Exhale to 11 o'clock. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. We're going to do a couple more like this. Now your hips and your torso stay still. Your belly button is still pointing in the same spot at the ceiling. Your right hip is grounded into the mat. It's not lifting up and away from the ground. Now, the next time you return back to the center, really plug your torso in. Right shoulder, right hip. Left heel pushes forward. Draw the left shoulder down and back. Okay. Inhale. Exhale. Let it come over to 11 o'clock, and we're going to hold it there. All right. Now, the key here is drawing the right hip, right side of the lower back, right side of your seat, right sit bone down into the mat as you draw the right heel up and away. It's like your right leg is being pulled in two opposite directions. It's making a long diagonal line. It's not about how steep it can be. It's about how long it can be. So keep reaching the right heel up, the right hip down. Feel it through the outer part of the hip and thigh. Take another deep breath here. All right, we're going to come right into a twist. So inhale, exhale, let the leg go not even 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, all the way over to the left. Maybe it even comes down towards the ground. If it can come really low to the ground, keep it maybe, I don't know, a foot away from the ground. And instead of letting it come down, think about it coming back, like you're reaching your toes more towards your left shoulder or towards the wall behind you. So instead of letting the right foot come down to the floor, let it go towards the wall behind you. Okay, but all the while, right shoulder pinned down into the mat. Right hip is up. It's like your belly button is pointing over to the left side of the room, but your right shoulder is grounded onto the mat. And take 2 more breaths here, pushing through both heels. Relax the muscles of the face. 1 more breath. Use your core through this transition. Inhale. Exhale, slowly return that leg back to the center, back 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, back to a long vertical line. Bottom of the foot faces the ceiling. Okay, now grab onto the strap with both hands. Keep the right leg extended and long just as it is. Just use your hands to shimmy the strap off your foot. Reach the right heel up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, slowly push through the heel as you lower the leg, lengthening and lowering at the same time. Once that leg comes down to the mat, lengthen both legs. Let the feet just flop away from each other, pinky toes towards the mat. Let the arms relax and just take a few moments to notice the difference between your two sides. One is not right, one is not wrong. They're just different here in this moment. One more breath. All right. Now bend your knees, bring your feet flat onto the mat. And let's do the left leg. So hook the strap onto the ball mount of your left foot. And again, the ball mount of your foot is the space between the arch and the toes, just below the toes. All right, and then lengthen the left leg up, reaching through the heel. Left toes point towards the wall behind you. You can keep the arms extended, the arms long. Just make sure the shoulders are relaxed if you do that. Or maybe here you have the elbows bent, and then the arms can rest on the ground. But either way, relax throat, neck, and jaw. Soften through the chest. Check in with your breath, smooth and fluid here. All right, now listen to your lower back and your hip flexors. Your lower back is where you'll feel it. It's kind of determined by your hip flexors and your lower back. But either way, you could keep the right knee bent, or maybe you lengthen the right leg. But if you do that, I would suggest pushing through the right heel, right toes reach to the sky. All right, so push through the right heel, push through the left heel, relax the shoulders. All right, and we're going to move with the breath here with this left leg. So inhale, exhale, bend the left knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. And we're going to do a couple more with the breath. Now relax your shoulders. Relax through the arms, relax the hands. Keep pushing through both heels. And just feel the opening through the back of the left leg. And do about 2 more just like this. All right, and then the next time you lengthen the leg, let's pause there. Really reach through the heel. And maybe you even kind of tug at the strap just a little bit, getting your toes a little bit closer towards the wall behind you. Now relax the shoulders, check in with your breath. Throughout each of these poses, movements, stretches, you might think, ooh, that's a stretch, but I don't want you to think, ow. So ooh and ow are different. Ooh is okay, ow is really not. So just keep checking in. One more breath. All right, now bring both ends of the strap into your left hand and bring your right hand to your right ASIS bone, the right part of your, just above your right hip flexor, as if you were going to put your hand in your front pocket, that bony part right here. All right, now you're going to draw your right hand down into your right hip down into the mat, right shoulder into the mat. We're going to move the left leg just a little bit, move with the breath. Inhale, let the leg drop over, just a little bit over to the side. Exhale as you return it back. Inhale, let it go to the left. Exhale, return to the right. Inhale, let it go to the left. Exhale to the right. Now a couple more like this, and as you're doing this, your leg is the only thing that's moving. The hope is that we can isolate the hip. And that means keeping the pelvis and your torso still. So you've got your hand on your hip so you can feel it. Is your right hip bopping up and down towards the ceiling, towards the floor, towards the ceiling, towards the floor? Try to keep it still. Try to keep it level. Do one more with your breath. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you return, and then pause, reset. Really ground your hips, ground your right shoulder. Inhale, reach the left heel to the sky. Exhale as you drop the left leg over to the left, but keep the right hand on the right hip and the right hip dropping down. Imagine your belly button as if it was a laser pointer. It would be pointing at the same spot throughout this whole time. So the hips are level. Right hip, right shoulder are grounded. Left heel is reaching towards the left side of the room. And if the right leg is extended, push the right heel forward. Now allow that left leg to feel the lengthening in the inner part of the hip, inner part of the thigh. Take another deep breath here. Supta Pada Gustasana 2. Inhale. Exhale, slowly return that leg back to the center, back to 12 o'clock. So the leg is at a long, straight vertical line at 12 o'clock. We're just going to switch out the hands. So grab onto the strap with your right hand. Left arm reaches out to the left with the palm facing up. Now the left shoulder and the left hip are grounded. They are not going to move. We're just going to move the left leg just a little bit. So if it's at 12 o'clock, inhale. Exhale, let it go just to 1 o'clock, just to the right, just a tad. Inhale as it returns. Exhale as it drops. Inhale as it goes to the left. Exhale as it goes to the right. A couple more like this. Inhale. Exhale. Now check in with your feet. Push through the heels. We're lengthening the backs of the legs. So this is going to help us lengthen and open up through the lower back. I'm sure I've said this before, but this is one of my favorite routines to do when my lower back is acting up, which it has been. And I've been going to this just about every day, and it makes a difference. It really does. And so let's do one more just like this. Move with your breath. And then inhale as it returns back to 12 o'clock. Exhale, come back to 11 o'clock. We're going to hold it here. So you're drawing your left hip down towards the mat, left shoulder down into the mat, but the left heel up and away. Your left leg is making a long diagonal line as the heel reaches up. So you're going to feel it through the outer part of the hip, outer part of the thigh, sort of along the IT band. Soften shoulders, soften the arms. Take a deep breath. All right, we're going to come right into a twist. We're going to keep the left shoulder down, but the left hip will lift. So inhale, exhale, let the left leg drop to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, all the way over to the right. Left hip lifts, left shoulder stays down. Okay, now if your left foot is tempted to like touch the floor, pick it maybe about a foot away from the floor. I like to kind of check and my left leg is sort of level. My hip and my heel are sort of at the same height. That's what it looks like in my body, but you know. So you're still pushing through the heel, but instead of letting the foot come down, let the toes come back towards your right hand, towards your right shoulder, towards the wall behind you. Then open the back of the leg deeper. The hamstrings, again, get into the lower back even more. And you might have to crawl your right hand up the strap. But think about pointing your belly button over to the right. The left shoulder stays on the mat. Feel it through the spine. One more breath. Inhale, return back to the center, all the way back to 12 o'clock to a long vertical straight line. Keep the leg at this long vertical line. Just use your hands to shake the strap off. Inhale, reach the heel up. Exhale, slowly lengthen and lower. Push the heel away from you. And then allow the leg to come down. Both feet lengthen. Feet flop towards the mat. Take a couple breaths. Notice how you feel. One more breath here. All right, and then slowly bend your knees. Bring your feet onto the ground. You can set the strap off to the side. Inhale. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Take a few moments. Do what feels good. Happy baby. Maybe rock side to side. And that was a lot of flexing of the feet. You may or may not be used to that. Maybe your calves and your shins are like, ah! So maybe roll the ankles around, point the feet, wiggle the toes. Do what you need to. 2 more breaths. All right, and then make your way up to a comfortable seat, preferably sitting on something. Elevate your hips. Hmm. All right. So that was all sort of hips, and with the hope, not even with the hope, with the knowledge that it will have sort of this snowball domino effect upwards. All right. And now let's keep making our way upwards, I suppose. Let's do a little bit of neck and shoulders. So just take a comfortable seat, let your legs relax, sit up tall, soften shoulders away from the ears. Take a deep breath. All right. And then inhale, let the arms reach out in opposite directions. Exhale, cross the right arm on top of the left, giving yourself a hug. Crawl your fingertips back like you're reaching for your shoulder blades. Doesn't matter if you can or can't touch them. It's just you're moving in that direction. Okay, now we have a tendency to sort of let the arms sag. So lift the elbows up, but let the shoulders relax away from your ears. Now you could stay here. You might turn at the arms so your fingertips point up towards the ceiling. Maybe backs of the hands come together. Maybe the palms come together. All right, now lift your elbows up away from the ground and forward away from your chest. Let the shoulders draw down and back. Okay. Now you could stay here and you could stay still, but for a little bit more in the arms and shoulders and just sort of some movement that wakes things up in ways they don't typically are woken up in. You know what I mean. Inhale, lengthen at the elbows like you're reaching your fingertips forward. Exhale, bend at the elbows, fingertips back towards the sky. Inhale, turn so fingertips point over to the right. Exhale, return back up. Think about keeping the spine still. Do as I say, not as I do. Inhale as fingertips go to the left. Exhale, return. One more of each. Inhale, forward, lengthening at the elbows. Exhale, return. Inhale to the right. Exhale, return. Inhale to the left. Exhale, return. And then we're going to pause here. So again, lift the elbows, soften the shoulders, take a deep breath. Inhale, let the arms come out in opposite directions. Exhale, change the cross of the arms, cross the left arm on top of the right, crawl the fingertips back like you're reaching for your shoulder blades. Give yourself a hug. Elbows up, shoulders down. Relax throat, neck, and jaw. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, move the arms so fingertips reach up, backs of the hands or palms together. Now, you could absolutely stay here, but either way, just kind of check in for a moment. So again, lift the elbows up, draw forearms forward, shoulders down and back. Now again, you can stay here or add a little bit of movement. Inhale, lengthen the arms forward. Exhale, bend at the elbows, fingertips to the sky. Inhale, point fingertips over to the left. Exhale, return. And again, try to keep the torso still. Inhale to the right. Exhale, return. One more of each. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, return to the center. Check in. Soften shoulders. Relax throat, neck, and jaw. Take a deep breath here. Inhale, reach the arms out in opposite directions. Exhale, let the arms come down. Good, and then maybe roll the shoulders out. Do what feels good. Maybe a few rolls backwards, a few rolls forward. All right, now let's come into tabletop. So let's set up onto all fours on our hands and knees. We'll be kneeling for just a little bit, but maybe you want some support under your knees. All right. Now we're just going to move through a traditional cat and cow here. Just a little bit of movement here. So hands under the shoulders, spread the fingers, and inhale, drop the belly. Pull the heart forward, look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, ribs to the sky, chin to the chest. Move with your breath. Inhale, drop the belly, but lift the heart. Exhale, lift the ribs, tuck the chin. Inhale, point your belly button at your thighs, but shine your heart forward. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, point your belly button at your face. Couple more just like this. You're welcome to add any movement or other variation that you'd like. Just moving through the spine. Take one more breath wherever you're at. All right, and then let's meet in tabletop. From tabletop, let's walk the hands one whole handprint forward to the top of the mat. Hook the toes under. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few moments. Maybe you pedal out the heels. Shake the head yes and no. Do what feels good. Do what makes sense for just another breath. All right, now spread your fingers. Check in with your hands. Claw the mat. Squeeze with the fingertips and inhale. Shift forward to plank pose for just a couple breaths. Now your shoulders are over your elbows. Elbows are over your wrists. You can always drop to your knees or stay on your toes. Your feet can be hip distance. Your feet can be together. That's the hardest option here, but take one more breath. Feeling the work and the strength in plank. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Allow your hips to rise. The heels to fall. Take a breath. All right. Deeply bend your knees. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel forward. Take baby steps walking your feet forward to forward fold Uttanasana. Feet hip distance. Weight back in the heels. Soft bend in the knees. Maybe a deep bend in the knees. Maybe you grab opposite elbows and sway or shake your head yes, shake your head no. Do what feels good in this forward fold. Lengthening the whole back side. So again, opening through the lower back. Take about 2 more breaths. All right, return back to a traditional forward fold. So again, weight back in the heels and at least a little soft, little baby bend in your knees. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Push down through the heels. Inhale, rise all the way up. Circle your arms. Maybe add a bit of a back bend. Bring the hands to the heart. Take a deep breath. All right. Okay, let's do some palm trees. The balance pose that is symmetrical. So you're welcome to be where you gotta be. But you're gonna start with your feet hip distance, toes forward. So this is the one where we shift the weight out of the toes for just a moment, just so we can lift the toes, spread the toes, and then place them down, maybe one at a time, starting with the pinky toe, and then coming all the way to the big toe. Maybe not, because that's pretty tough. I can't even do it, but hopefully you've got some wiggle room between your toes. All right, now look at something. That's up and away. Relax the shoulders. Think about lengthening up, and throughout this, you're lifting up, not forward. Inhale as you slowly lift the heels away from the ground, shifting your weight into your toes and into the ball mounds of your feet. And exhale, slowly lower down. We're going to move with the breath. Inhale as you slowly lift the heels up high, high, high. And then exhale very slowly, very carefully lower them down. Now, when you lower the heels down, see if you can just tap the ground and come back up. Instead of jumping your weight into them, keep the weight always in the toes, always in the ball mounts of the feet. So inhale as you lift. And exhale to lower. Now you can stay just like this. Really focus on evening out your weight right to left. Base of the big toe and the base of the little toe take the same amount of weight. And that could be a lot of work for you. It is for me. But maybe if you want another bit of a challenge, you add the arms. And you inhale, lift the heels, lift the arms, sweeping the arms up and around. And then exhale, lower the heels, lower the arms. Let the heels tap the ground. Inhale, lift, reach, rise. Exhale, slowly, carefully lower. A couple more with your breath. Even out the weight, right to left. This is the challenging part in balance poses. In every pose, your weight should be evenly distributed. It's just tough. That's usually where we really have to shift our focus. So let's do one more just like this. Really make it a strong movement. Inhale as you lift, slow, controlled, lifting and reaching, and then exhale slowly, thoughtfully, mindfully lower. Okay, and then you can, maybe if you got to roll the ankles around, wiggle the toes. All right. Okay. Let's come on back to the top of the mat, facing forward, weight in the heels, shift the weight back, stand up tall. Draw the shoulders down and back, really pull the heart forward. Lift up through the crown of the head and draw the back of the skull back a little bit, like you're giving yourself a little bit of a double chin. Really push through the heels, lengthen up. Feel strong, grounded, and centered here. Tadasana, mountain pose. And we'll move with the breath. Inhale, circle the arms, lifting the chest, maybe even looking up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. We're going to keep going with the breath. Inhale as you rise all the way up. Circle the arms, lift the chest. We're going to do two more. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Push through the heels. Inhale, rise all the way up. Circle the arms, lift the chest. One more half sun salutation. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Sweep the arms, lift the chest. And we're going to make our way down. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. This time, exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands down, step back into plank. We're going to come back into that plank position. So you can come to the knees. You can be on the toes, but the hands are under the shoulders. Spread the fingers. Push the base of the pointer finger down. And now lengthen your lower back like you're pointing your belly button towards your face. Just a little bit more. One more deep breath. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Maybe pedal out the heels. Maybe shake the head. All right. Again, spread the fingers, check in with the hands, plank pose. Inhale, shift forward, shoulders over elbows, elbows over wrists. The creases of your elbows point forward, the middle fingers point forward. Push the base of the pointer finger down and the webbing between your pointer finger and thumb into the mat. I know this is tough and it takes work, but you're not thinking ow, you're thinking ooh, but not ow, right? Different. One more breath, you can do it. And then inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few moments. All right, from down dog, take a child's pose. Dropping down onto the knees, let the hips come back towards the heels. You can allow the arms to come forward, maybe arms come alongside the body, but allow everything to relax. Check in with your breath. Take one more deep breath here. All right, and then bring your hands under your shoulders. Push your hands into the ground, lift your chest. We're going to come to a seat. So you can swing your legs around, come on into a seat with your legs in front of you, and you don't need to sit on anything. All right, so we're going to do just a little bit more core work. So plank is my go-to, as you probably all know. Plank is one of the best exercises for your core, for the front side of your body, and I love things where you can just be still. So here we're going to do something similar, and you know where we're going. So bring the hands to the backs of the thighs, sit up tall, draw the back of the skull back towards the wall behind you. Give yourself a little bit of a chin. That's called Jalandhara Bandha. So engage Jalandhara Bandha. Lift the chest, draw shoulders down and back, lean back. Use your core, keeping the spine tall and long. Lean back, maybe keep the feet down, maybe lift the feet up. But keep the feet together, have them be flexed, reach the toes to the sky. Now relax your shoulders, relax your arms, softly hold on to the backs of your thighs. So you don't have to squeeze, just have the hands rest softly. Pull the heart up and forward, shoulders down and back. Relax throat, neck, and jaw. One more breath. And then slowly let the feet come down. Bring your hands beside you. Let the knees drop side to side a handful of times. Let your seat come up off the ground. So just like when we were on our backs and using the strap, I said it's like you're pointing your belly button now like over to the side, but the shoulders are grounded. We want the same thing. So can you keep your shoulders sort of still, but move the lower half? All right, one more on each side. All right, and we're going to do boat pose one more time. One last little bit of core work, and then we're just going to stretch. All right, so hands to the backs of the thighs, sit up tall, engage Jalandhara Bandha, lengthen the back of the neck, and then start to lean back, keeping all the length in your spine. Maybe keep the feet down, maybe lift them up. Maybe keep the hands at the backs of the thighs, maybe release them, but feet are together and flexed, and lift them up another little bit. Okay, soften your shoulders. Pull the heart forward like you're wearing a necklace you're really proud of. Open and broaden through the collarbones. Think about relaxing from the ears, down the sides of the neck, tops of the shoulders, down through the arms, all the way down to the fingertips. Two more breaths, just like this boat pose Navasana. You're able to breathe. You're thinking, ooh, not ow. And then hands to the backs of the thighs. Let the feet come down. And then hands beside you and take the twist. So keeping the upper body fairly still and letting the legs move to create a twist in the midsection. A couple more like this. All right. We're going to come down onto our backs. Maybe you give yourself a little bit of support under your head, but it's not necessary. But make your way down. Okay. All right, so let's start with the knees bent, feet flat. All right, inhale. Exhale as you draw your right knee in towards your belly. Use your right hand to grab onto the back of your right thigh. So you could hold on to the shin, but most of us are going to feel a little bit better if we hold on to the back of the thigh. So draw the back of the thigh, or the thigh, I should say, in towards the belly and over to the right a little, like you're reaching your right kneecap for the back right corner of your mat. Now, I like to have my left hand at my left ASIS bone. I personally really like that tactile feedback in my body of what's going on in my pelvis or my spine or whatever. So, but either way, we want to keep the left hip kind of down. All right. Now you could just stay right here, or what we're essentially taking is half happy baby. So keeping your right thigh as it is, all you do is just extend the leg at the knee so that the bottom of the foot can face the ceiling. Nothing else should have changed. The hips, the pelvis, that right thigh, nothing else should have moved. All it was just an extension at the knee. And then the right hand, instead of holding onto the thigh, maybe grabs onto the foot or the toes. But instead of letting the left hip lift up off the ground, drop the left hip down, point your belly button at the ceiling right up overhead. Okay, open through that right hip, that right inner thigh. Take 2 more breaths here. All right. Now using your right hand, guide your right ankle to the top of your left thigh. And taking figure 4. Softly flex the right foot. You could stay here, or maybe you bring both hands to the back of your left thigh or to your left shin, whatever's comfortable in the knee. But softly flex your left foot to protect your left knee. Relax the shoulders away from the ears and towards the floor. And just check in with what you're feeling in this right side. Let's stay for 2 more breaths. All right, keep your legs in this formation. Just release your arms, let the left foot come down onto the ground. Cross your right leg all the way over your left so your thighs are together. There's no more of a space between your thighs, they're stacked. And scoot your hips just a couple inches over to the right. So scoot your hips a couple inches over to the right. Let the arms reach out in opposite directions, palms face up, and let the legs drop over to the left. Now, wrapping your right leg around your left is going to deepen the twist. It's going to pull this right hip up off the mat even more. So if that's too intense, you can uncross the legs and bring the inner thighs together. Now, the right hip coming up off the mat is going to deepen the twist, but we don't want that to happen at the expense of lifting the right shoulder. So the right shoulder has to stay down. Right hip, we want it to lift, 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 but the right shoulder, maintain it on the mat. Maybe you turn at your neck and look over your right shoulder. We're going to rest in this twist for a couple breaths. Allow yourself to settle in. Allow your awareness to remain present. Maybe on your breath, maybe on the sensation of the pose. Stay present and internal. Stay for 3 more breaths. If your head is turned, slowly return your head and neck back to the center. Think about using your core to draw your right hip down into the mat, which returns the legs to the center, the kneecaps to the sky. You can uncross the legs, recenter the hips, and take a few moments. Notice how you feel. All right. Okay. We're coming back with knees bent, feet flat. All right. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, draw your left leg, left knee in towards the belly. Use the left hand to grab onto the back of the thigh. So again, you could grab onto the shin, but most of us will be taking the half happy baby version. So I like to grab onto the back of the thigh and pull the thigh into the belly and over to the left a little, like the kneecap is reaching for the back left corner of the mat. Now, square everything up here. I, again, like to place my right hand at my right hip, but we don't want the whole torso and the whole body to go to the left because that's not opening the hips. That's just letting everything go to the left. We want the only thing that moves to be this left leg. Now you could stay here or just lengthening at the knee. Maybe allow the bottom of the left foot to face the ceiling, grab onto the foot or the toes. And now again, it's still like you're drawing the left knee down and back, but relax the left shoulder, drop the right hip, belly button is pointing at the ceiling as opposed to the left side of the room. Take a few deep breaths. Notice this feeling in this sort of half happy baby, inner thigh, inner part of the hip. It's sort of a deep sensation. Take a couple breaths here. One more breath. All right, and then using your left hand, guide your left ankle to the top of your right thigh. And then softly flex the left foot to protect your left knee. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, bring both hands to the back of the right thigh or the right shin, but softly flex your right knee, or flex your feet, protect your knees. You know the drill. Soften the shoulders down away from the ears and down away from the sky. Relax through the arms. And again, just notice what you're feeling through the hips, the thighs. There is no good or bad, no right or wrong. There just is. And so notice what is. 2 more breaths here. All right. And then slowly release your legs. Let the right foot come back down onto the ground. Cross the left leg all the way over so thighs are together. There's no space between them. Scoot the hips over to the left a few inches. Arms come out in opposite directions, palms up. And allow the legs to fall to the right. So your left shoulder stays on the mat. Your left hip lifts up off the mat. Point your belly button over to the right side of the room, but not at the expense of lifting the left shoulder. Keep the left shoulder down. Now, if the left shoulder is firmly grounded, you might turn at the neck and look over your left shoulder. And again, you can take a different leg variation. You can uncross the legs. Do what feels right. This should feel good. Stay for 3 more breaths. And if your head is turned, slowly return it to the center. Using your core, slowly draw the left hip down towards the mat. That draws your legs back to the center, which draws your kneecaps to face the ceiling. You can uncross the legs, recenter the hips. Take a couple deep breaths here and just check in. Inhale. Exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Maybe you rock from side to side. Or maybe for one more hip opener, you take happy baby. Grab onto the bottoms of the feet, preferably grabbing onto the feet in a way so that your palms face each other. Whether you grab the toes or the feet or the heels or the whatever, but so that the palms face each other sort of in towards the center line. And then maybe you rock side to side. Maybe you straighten one leg. Do what feels good. Couple deep breaths here. All right. And then in your own time, settle into Shavasana. So use props, don't use props. Put on layers, stay how you are, do whatever your heart desires. Remember that the hope is that you can rest in stillness. And generally when you rest in stillness, your body temperature drops, so you might get a little chilly. And then again, with the hope that you can rest in stillness is just you want to be as comfortable as you can. I know a handful of students who they sort of know this about themselves that maybe halfway through Shavasana, they got to move, they got to adjust. So do whatever you have to do. Set yourself up so that you can just be comfy and cozy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Some more oohs, right? With those kind. So just let yourself really settle in, sink in, feel deep into the support that's beneath you. Really feel it support you. And as you rest your body, hopefully you can rest your mind even just a little bit. And it's natural for your mind to want to move and wander. So if your mind starts to do that, don't worry. Just come back to your breath. And when your mind starts to wander again, just go back to your breath. Just watching the sensations. Watch the sensations of the breath. Slowly deepen your breath. Invite gentle but full breaths back into your body. And as you do so, invite soft movements like rocking your head from side to side, running your thumbs over the rest of your fingers as you wiggle your toes. Roll your wrists and ankles. Move your arms and legs. Maybe reach your arms overhead, stretching your whole body. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, hug your knees in towards your chest and slowly roll over onto either side. Using the strength of both arms, push down into the ground and come up to a comfortable seat. Take a moment here to thank yourself for making it to your mat today and maybe reflect on your intention. Now let's join the hands together in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra. To seal our practice, we'll chant the sound of Om one time. Om is said to be the oldest and most sacred mantra. We'll start by taking a deep and clearing breath. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale for Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. From my love of yoga to yours. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being here, for me, for you, for honestly, like the collective consciousness, which is a lot, but when you better yourself, you better the collective consciousness. You better and you explore and deepen everything, the community. And so this is something I've been thinking a lot about, and is that even though we are not doing yoga together, because that's really powerful too, but when we are doing yoga at all, we are doing it essentially together and for the collective, which I think is just really beautiful in a time when it feels really isolating right now. I think I'm not alone in that. I don't think I'm the only one in the last year that's felt a little isolated. I think we all kind of can feel that. So if it helps you, like it helps me, to think of it as it's raising everyone's vibrations. It's helping the collective. So thank you so much thank you not only just for me or for yourself for bettering yourself and thanking yourself for taking this time on your mat. Thank you for all of us, from all of us. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day or the rest of your evening, whatever it is. And I hope to see you soon. Stay safe and healthy. Bye.